Chapter 3.
Hello, teacher. I'm going to read chapter 3. Thank you.
Chapter
Chapter
3.
3.
Bob, Bunny and
Bunny
Peter.
and Peter.
The
The
Wailing
Wailing
Whalers.
Whalers.
Growing up in Trenchtown,
Trenchtown,
Bob and Neville became friends with an older boy called Winston McIntosh, later known as Peter Tosh, who shared their love of music. Peter was already
Growing on the Trenchtown, Bob Neville became friends with the older boy called Winston McIntosh. Later, now as Peter Tosh was shared their love of music.
a good guitarist, and he even owned a real guitar.
Peter was already a good guitarist and even owned a real guitar.
His skill on the guitar pushed Bob to practice harder.
His skill on the guitar pushed Bob to practice harder.
Sometimes Bob stayed up all night practicing.
Sometimes Bob stayed up all night practices.
The three young men played together all the time and decided to form a band. They discussed different names for the band. At first, they called themselves the Wailing Rude Boys, but they soon changed this to the Wailing Whalers.
Well. The three young men played together all the time and they decided to form a band. They discussed different names for the band. At first they called themselves the Wailing Rude Boys, but the sound challenged to believe in Wailing was crying because
Wail means cry.
well, it's mean cry.
They used this name because of the hard lives of the people of Trenchtown.
This used the name because of our hard lives of the people of Trenchtown.
A local musician, Joe Higgs, helped them and gave them advice.
A local music, Joe Higgs helped the engraved them outside.
They often played popular American songs of the time and listened carefully to find out which songs people liked best.
They often played popular American songs of the time and listened encouraged to find out which song people liked best.
The band practiced in local parks and on street corners.
Band had practice in local park and the street corners.
Joe even told them to play at night in the local cemetery.
Joe even told him to play at night in the local cemetery.
If they were brave enough to play in a cemetery at night, they were brave enough
were brave enough to play in the cemetery at night.
to play on stage.
They were brave enough to play on stage.
For 2 years, the band practiced with Joe Higgs' help. Before they finally went to see a record company, Studio One.
For 2 years, the band practiced with the Joe Higgs' help before they finally went to see a record company, Studio One.
Studio One was owned by Clement Coxon Dodd, one of Jamaica's systems men. Coxon was said to
The Studio One was owned by Clement Coxon Dodd, one a Jamaica system man.
be a hard man who did not always pay his musicians enough money.
Hans son was said to be a hard man when he did not always pay his musicians enough money.
But in Bunny Livingston's words, Coxon knew when the sound was right.
But in Bunny Livingston's words, Coxon would never the sound was right.
The sound of Bob, Tosh, Bunny, and another friend, Junior Braithwaite, was certainly right for the times.
The sound of Bob, Tosh, Bunny, and another friend, Junior Braithwaite, was centrally right on the times.
The band recorded their first song for Studio One in 1963.
It was a record their first song for Studio One in the 1963.
It was a ska song that Bob had written called Simmer Down.
It was a ska song that Bob had written called Simmer Down.
This song was a message to Kingston's rude boys to avoid crime.
The song was missions to Kingdom's Red Boy to avoid crime.
Jamaica was no longer under British rule.
Jamaica was no longer under British rule.
Jamaicans were excited to be living in a free country, but life had not become easier for the poor in Kingston.
Jamaicans were excited to be living in the free country, but life had not become easy for the poor in the Kingston.
Too many young people had turned to crime.
Too many young people had turned to crime.
Simmer Down was very popular in Jamaica and sold around 80,000 copies.
Simmer Down was very popular in Jamaica and sold around 18,000 copies.
However, like most musicians in Jamaica at the time, the Wailing Wailers earned very little money from the record.
However, like most musicians in Jamaica at the time, this living Wailery earned very little money from the record.
The band's success continued, but they had not yet found their true style.
The band's success continued, but they had not yet found their true style.
Like many Jamaican musicians, the Wailing Wailers were following the style of American bands.
But like many Jamaican musicians, the Wailing Wailers were following the style of American bands. ¿Qué? ¿Está entrando? Ah, por las ventanas. Hay que cerrarlas, pero no hay escalera. I don't scratch. Yes.
They dressed in smart suits like American singers, and sometimes they even sang their own versions of the same songs. Around this time, Bob's mother, Siddy, had a child by Toddy Livingston. Now Bob and Bunny shared a half-sister, Pearl. Bob also became a...
They dressed in smart suits like American singer and something they never sang their own version of the same song. Around this time, Bob's mother, Siddy, had a child by Toddy Livingston. Now Bob and Buddy shared a half-sister, Pearl.
Father himself when his girlfriend had a baby girl, Imani Carroll.
Bob also became a father himself when his girlfriend had a baby girl, Imani Carroll.
Bob was still only 17 years old.
Bob was still only 17 years old.
Soon, Siddy made an important decision.
Soon, Siddy made an important decision.
She had relatives in Delaware in the U.S.
She had relatives in the Delaware in the U.S.
And she decided to try and find a better life there.
And she decided to try and find a better life there.
Her plan was to move there and then send for her children after 3 months.
Her plan was to move there once, then send for the children after 3 months.
When she left, Siddy wanted Bob to stay with relatives in Kingston, but the young man had other ideas.
When she left, Siddy wanted Bob to stay with the relative in Kingdom, but the young man had another ideas.
He was busy recording and writing songs for Studio One, and now he began to sleep at the studio.
He was busy recording and writing songs for Studio One, and now he began to sleep at the studio.
Always serious about music, he helped any group that came to record.
Always serious about the music, he helped any group that came to record.
For this help, he received just $3 a week.
For this help, he received just $3 a week.
Bob and his band often walked through Trenchtown to Studio One.
Bob and his band often walked through Trenchtown to Studio One.
One morning, a teenage girl shouted to them.
One morning, a teenage girl shouted to them.
Her name was Alvarita Anderson.
His name was Alberita Anderson.
Rita. And she enjoyed singing.
Estoy haciendo tarea, hombre. No, 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 no. No. Cierra la puerta. Cierra la bendita puerta, hombre. La puerta. And she enjoyed it singing with
her cousin and a friend. Together, they sang in the style of Motown, the most popular African American music at the time.
Together, they sang in the style of Motown, the most popular African American music at the time.
Born in Cuba, Rita had moved to Kingston as a young girl.
Born in Cuba, Rita had moved to Kingston as a young girl.
Like Bob, she was living in the city without her parents. Her mother and father had moved to Britain.
Like Bob, she was living in the city without the parent. Her mother and father had moved to Britain.
When Bob and his band heard Rita and her friends sing, they told them to go to Studio One.
When Bob and his band heard Rita and her friends sing, they told them to go to Studio One.
Coxon liked them, and he immediately wanted the three singers at his studio.
Coxon liked them, and he immediately wanted the three singers of the studio.
The three singers called themselves the Soulettes, and they sang with the Wailers. Bob was a quiet, serious man, and at first, Rita did not think that he was interested in her.
The three singers called Soulet the children and they sang with the Wailers. Bob was quite a serious man, and at first Rita did not think that he was interested in her.
But that soon changed, and the two became boyfriend and girlfriend.
But that soon changed, and the two became boyfriend and girlfriend.
Rita's aunt even built a little room at the side of her house for Rita and Bob to live in together.
Rita often even built a little room on the side of her house for Rita and Bob to live in together.
3 years after she left, Bob's mother was now ready for her children to come and live with her in the US. Siddy had married.
3 years after she left, Bob's mother was now ready for the children to come and live with her in the US.
Again, she was now Siddy Booker, and lived with her new husband in Wilmington, Delaware, on the East Coast.
Siddy had married again. She was now Siddy Booker and living with her new husband in the Wilmington, Delaware, in the East Coast.
Now Bob had to decide what to do about his future. He had become less and less
about his future.
happy with Studio One. Coxon still
He was become less and less happy with Studio One.
paid his musicians hardly anything for records.
Coxon still paying his music hardly anything for the record.
Even successful ones.
Even successful ones.
Bob decided to try life in the US, but he wanted to marry Rita first.
Bob decided to try life in the US but wanted to marry Rita first.
They were married on February the 10th, 1966.
They were married on February the 10th, 1966.
Bob was 21 years old. Like his own father,
Bob was 21 years old.
Bob said goodbye to his wife soon after the wedding and left.
Like his one father, Bob saying goodbye to his wife soon after they began of left.
In the US, Bob found several jobs and worked in a car factory for a while. He earned more money than he could in Jamaica, but he was not happy.
In the US, Bob found several jobs and working in the car factory with Hawaii. He earned more money than he had called in Jamaica, but he was not happy after he tired of home playing the guitar and writing new songs.
Often, he stayed at home playing his guitar and writing new songs. He just wanted to earn enough to go back to Jamaica and start his own record company.
He just wanted to earn enough to go back out to Jamaica and started his one record company.
Then he received a letter from the US government. It said that he had to go and fight in the Vietnam War.
He signed a letter from the US government. It said what he had to go and fight in the Vietnam War.
Instead, Bob flew back to his wife in Jamaica with $700 in his pocket and a lot of new songs.
Instead, Bob flew back to his wife in Jamaica in the $700 in his pocket and a lot of new songs. Thank you, teacher, for listening for me, and thank you and goodbye in the next see you later in the chapter 4, the rights of reggae. Thank you for listening and goodbye.